Welcome to Daily Hope. My name is Joan Stevenson. I'm excited to be with you guys today in Nehemiah chapter 7. This whole book has been exciting to me. Watching Nehemiah going from heartbroken that Jerusalem is in shambles to all the miraculous provision for him to go and rebuild the walls and the opposition he's experienced. And now the walls are rebuilt and the gates are in place. And you wonder kind of what's next now for Nehemiah. Nehemiah 7 verse 5 says, "So my God put it into my heart to assemble the nobles, the officials, and the common people for registration by families." Nehemiah had a personal relationship with God. That's the very, very first thing that strikes me in this passage, is that Nehemiah says, "So my God." My God means that he knew God. It wasn't the God of heaven or so-and-so's God or your God. It's my God. There was a personal relationship with God. And then he says, "So my God put it into my heart." He knew that God had put an idea into his heart. And how did he know that the idea was from God? It wasn't some great idea he came up with on his own. It was a logical thing to do, but he knew it was from God because he had been spending time with God. You know, the very first thing to know when we are trying to figure out is something from God or not from God is we need to know, where did it come from? Was it my idea? Was it an idea that God put in my head? I love how Ephesians 1:16 says, "So that I ask the God of my Master Jesus Christ to make me discerning in knowing him personally." We need to be knowing God personally. And then it says, "So my eyes are focused and clear to see exactly what he is calling me to do." We can only know what God is calling us to do when we know him personally. I love how Nehemiah, even though he had accomplished this major thing, was still open to hearing ideas from God. As a church, we take seriously planning for 2022, and every year we take time to pray and plan and ask God, what do you have in your mind for North Coast Calvary Chapel this next year? And it's a great practice for you if you have a business or if you have a family or if you're in leadership in an organization of any kind, is to spend that time and say, God, what is it that you have in mind? I don't have any good ideas. I only have God ideas. And the only things that I've ever seen happen in life that have been meaningful and fulfilling are the things that God has been putting in my heart. In our children's ministry, we have spent a lot of time to pray and plan and say, God, what is it you have in my mind? And then we set our goals, and then we set our objectives, and then our budget comes out of that in our events and our calendar. And that's how Nehemiah started. He had time with Jesus, with God personally, and then we waited until God put something in his mind. In other translations, it says, stir in my heart, or put into my mind, or put into my heart. It wasn't something that Nehemiah was coming up with. It was God putting it in. And then you'll notice, if you read the rest of Nehemiah 7, that there's some really practical things that had to happen. He had to gather the people, all the people, the officials, the nobles, the common people. And then they had to provide documentation that showed they were the people of God. I imagine if you're an accountant or you use Excel or like Google Sheets, that there was a spreadsheet with lots of tabs color-coded that were showing where each family could show that they were from the people of God. It was a really important but practical thing that Nehemiah called the people of God to. And it was a God idea. So I invite you, church, to be with God personally and have your eyes focused and clear so that you can see exactly what God is calling you to do. And then trust that he will put into your hearts and minds the things that he has for you to do. There's other scriptures that say that before the creation of the world, God had in mind good works for you to do. Let's be listening so that we can see what they are. And then let's get about doing them and accomplish the things that God has for us. Have a great day, church.